Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Maria and I make personal development or self-development content. And I honestly just come on here and I share the different things that I have learned throughout life lessons, and really just the importance, as I always stress, of self-development, personal development, because it will honestly take us so much further in life. And so in today's video, I kind of wanted to stay on the same topic from my previous video about purpose in life. And so I kind of touched a little bit on the purpose of life and using our gifts in the previous video, but I kind of wanted to just follow up on that because I felt that that was really important to kind of give the gifts of life in a whole different video. So there are gifts that God gives us, and if you haven't heard of the story yet of the three servants, there are three servants, and two of them use the gifts that God has provided to them, and then the other one chooses to hide that gift and not use it at all for years. And so the Lord comes back and he's like, okay, let me see what you did with this stuff. Let me see what you did with this gold. And the two servants did exactly what he wanted them to do. They multiplied it. But then you have the last servant who just hid his one gift, and he never did anything with it. And he was the Lord was not happy with that at all. He said to the other two servants, thank you, my good and faithful servant. Now I will bless you with more, because you have decided to use these gifts or use this gold the way I have instructed you to. And then you have the last servant who he did not hold his responsibility up. So he did not receive that. But regardless of that, that is just a story of showing the importance of using our gifts in life. And I think for a long time, we tend to procrastinate, and we tend to think that procrastination is our way of really avoiding the inevitable, because God's will and God's purpose is going to be served regardless, right? And so just like we see in the story with the servants, the two did what they needed to do, the last one did not. But now the purpose is still served, because now the other two servants that actually did something with their gift is now being held responsible with more responsibility. And so regardless, God's purpose is going to go forward. And so it's just about being obedient to where God has placed you and the gifts that he has placed inside of us. And it's so important because it's really not our gifts to decide whether or not we want to use them or not, because it's God's purpose for us. And it's God's purpose for this world, most importantly. And so all the gifts that we all have are gifts to be able to help others out, right? So I have the gift of being able to talk to people, and to be able to coach people, and to be able to grow and really hone in on self-development. And just really, I've always been told, like, you know, you're wise beyond your years, and that is something that's a gift that God has given to me. Like, it's just bottom line, that's a gift that God has given to me. And for me to sit on that gift would actually be to God's detriment, or not to God's detriment, but to my detriment. But it would upset God. That's really what I mean. It would upset God, because he is not, and he did not give me this gift for me to sit on it, because there is purpose in this, and I have to be here to be a servant to other people, to be able to teach people the right way, and to show people that they are supposed to be using their gifts, and help people find their gifts, and all of those things, right? And so who am I when God has given me the gift of coaching, has given me the gift of wisdom and has given me the gift of creativity to sit on that gift. And so when we have been entrusted with those gifts, we must use them. And um, the other thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to those gifts as well is the idea that our gifts are not to be misused. God gave us our gifts to be able to use them properly, as it says in First Timothy. And so when we choose to use our gifts in a dishonorable way, that does not impress God and that does not please God, right? So for instance, I'm a person that I am able to heavily influence people. Like I just am able to show people with, like, you know, just the knowledge and the wisdom that God has provided to me. That is my gift. I'm able to be able to teach people things that they may not have otherwise known or understood, or be able to put the pieces together for. And that's a gift that God has provided to me, right? But if I was to misuse that gift, that would be me manipulating people. And that is not of God. So when you're using your gifts, you also have to understand that you must use them properly. It's not for you to use your gifts to take advantage of people, to just not be a good person to people. Your influence is supposed to be a positive influence, not a negative influence. Or let's say another thing for me, myself, right? I am just naturally a talker. I can talk someone's head off. My boyfriend tells me all the time, like, you can talk, right? And so that's also why it's easy for me to come on here as well and just kind of like talk to all of you. And thank you so much for your support about the different things that I have learned, right? In self-development. And so it's just natural. I'm just naturally able to talk. That is a gift that God has given to me because for both of my parents, they're both very much more introverted. I'm more extroverted, so I can really hold a conversation. I can really talk to people. And so like my mom will always say, like, I have no idea like where you came from, because like me and your dad, we are not like that at all. Like we are very like private people. We're very very like to ourselves. Like we really don't do all that. Whereas me, I can hold a conversation, right? And so with that gift that God has given me, it's for me to use that to be able to come and coach and talk and encourage and teach people, right? And in that, I am to be a good steward and not to, again, use these words that God has given me to be able to negatively influence people, because I'm naturally a talker, right? But I am here to positively influence people and positively speak out of my mouth. But if I was to decide to use those gifts that God has given me in a negative way or improper way, as First Timothy says, that would look like me gossiping. And I can be on the phone for hours and hours and hours and talking about people and all those things. That is using the gift that God has given me in an improper and negative way. And so that is the importance of not just using your gifts, right? But using your gifts in a proper way. Because if you are using the gifts that God has given you in an improper way, that's not pleasing in the sight of the Lord at all, right? And if you choose not to use your gifts at all, that's also not pleasing in the sight of the Lord, just like that servant, because it's not about you. And that's what I had to realize. It's not about me. So as I'm procrastinating, it's not about me. It's not about me. These gifts that God has given me, I am only just a servant. I am only just a vessel here, right? To be able to push the message forward. This message is not from me. This message is from God, but God is using me to push this message forward. So how dare I sit on this message? How dare I sit on this gift that God has given me for his purpose? We can't. And so this is why it's so important that we have to stop the procrastination. We have got to start operating in our gifts, and we have got to start living in the purpose that God has set out for us. And so that's really all that I wanted to come on here today and talk about. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will be down in the comments below as well, communicating back and forth with you all about different things as well. Any questions you may have, any comments you may have. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.